Okay, so welcome to our monthly career cafe. We are very excited to have you here today. We are going to just share a little bit about ourselves, and then we can talk about job search or any questions that you have for us today. So I'm going to start. My name is Katerina. I'm an HR manager and career coach. I've been in HR for over 6 years now. And I think, spent 6 or 7 years as a career coach. I work with international students, internationally trained professionals, and myself, I'm an international student. I was an international student. So I'm really excited to be here today and talk about, like the job search, resume, cover letter, interviews, anything that you really want to know. Feel free to type, your questions in the chat window. And I'll pass it over to Sandra.
Thank you, Katerina. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sandra. I'm from Colombia, so I am also someone who had the experience of coming to Canada as an international student partner. So I didn't attend college here, but I suffer on the shadow about what is to be looking for a job in Canada. Okay, my background is in social sciences, and I have been working with education and immigration for over 20 years. And I'm really happy to be here helping you today and sharing some information that might be useful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sandra. Okay, so I think Sandra will tell you a little bit about Devant.
Yes. So Devant is an organization. We are a private company who help students and graduates to get hired in Canada. So we all have faced the same challenge here, but Devant has helped over 25,000 job seekers across the country. We have supported 500 plus live event career developments since 2019, which is a high record. And we also have more than 30 Canadian employers who are actively looking for candidates for different type of job opportunities. So before we start, we are going to share a couple of housekeeping rules. So this is a very interactive workshop. You can either raise your hand if you have questions, but you can also put the questions on the chat. We encourage you to use your microphone because we would love to hear your voices as well. So please request to unmute during the time you want to ask your question. Also, please ask all the questions that you want because we really want this one to be a very helpful hour of chit chat and drinking some coffee if you have one. And also, just for your information, this session is being recorded. Okay, our future sessions are also listed under the tabs for the events that we have, mostly every 2 weeks. So if you go to our website and you go to devant.ca all events, you'll see what we have for the coming weeks.
Okay, amazing. And also you're going to receive the recording of today's session. So you will receive an email in the next couple of days so you can review the session, because I know that we are going to have a great discussion. So you will have the recording in your mailbox probably in the next few days. So we can start with what are your wins this month? What are your challenges? Or you can also talk, if you can start asking questions if you have about the job searching in Canada. So we'll leave it to you, you can use the chat window. If you want to use the microphone, just let us know and we can unmute you so you can ask your question. But yes, you can talk about your wins this week, or maybe if you had some challenges, talk us about those challenges to us, and maybe we'll be able to provide you with an advice. Or I know that some people, they have questions about the job search, so to get straight to the point. So absolutely use the chat window or the Q&A.
We basically have the first question. So this is from Bupati. They say, I have to prepare a 20-minute presentation elaborating on why you consider yourself the ideal candidate for the role. What are the things expected in it? So
Oh,
that's
that
a
is
very interesting question. Go ahead, Katrina. Sorry.
exactly. So first I have a follow-up question. What job did you apply? So if you can tell us just the job title, so I can give you, more I think better advice and tailored to, like the role that you have. But while you're typing, basically, like they really want to hear about your strengths, about your accomplishments, like when you talk about this job, really like relate your values and things that you're looking in a job with the company values and the culture, and connect, like how like your personality, your own like values really like are related to the job that you're applying. Just really first, what my advice is, like write down like on a piece of paper things why you want this job, like very briefly, like write down, and then from those things that you write down, then you can create like better sentences, you can present yourself better. But I think the roots like line that, like when you just quickly like write down the things that you want about this job and why you want this job, and then from there you can like be able to build like better sentences to present yourself in front of the interview committee or whoever is like reviewing that presentation.
So actually, the role Bupati is applying is an administrative assistant to vice president in the hospital. So they are asking for talking, so they raise their hands, and I'm going to let them talk.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Bupati.
Yeah, thank you for unmuting me.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah. So after first of all, I have to thank Devant for organizing these events, and so the earlier events where Katerina has spoken. So I have got a lot of insights, and I have to thank Devant and the team for giving this support. And second, like after doing job search for around couple of months, so finally today I got this call for interview, where my interview is next week, Tuesday. So where I have to make a 20-minute presentation, and I have to present in front of the manager. So so it will be good if I can have valuable inputs. And so far I have taken note of the things which I have said so far. So this is my need. Thank you.
Thank you, Bupati.
Amazing. So first, like I'm really glad to hear that you find these sessions helpful, and then the advice that I provide like earlier was like helpful too. So that's amazing. I also think like this is a really good thing that they're asking you to do, because instead of like asking you all of these questions, they're giving you the chance for you to present yourself. So maybe like then I will start like talking a little bit about yourself, tell them a little bit like who you are, like what you have done in the past, talk about like things that you like to do, right? Like about your, then you can kind of like start talking about your like education, the skill and experience, and then in the end like tell, like this is what I'm looking for, and like this role in this company is really has like the things that I'm looking for in a job. So you can talk a little bit, do a little bit of a research, like learn about company values, learn a lot about their culture, right? And you can like tie that like in your PowerPoint. So if it's like a 20 minutes PowerPoint, I will say like the first like few minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, tell them a little bit about who you are and what do you do. Then the next 10 minutes you can focus on your accomplishments, like strengths, experience, like things. And when you pick like accomplishments, talk a little bit about your strengths, and when you like showcase your experience, skills and experience, make sure that they're all related somehow like to the job description, right? Let's say they have listed 5 things in the job description, make sure if you have that experience and those skills to mention them in like in your PowerPoint. If let's say there is a line that says like you need to be like detailed, oriented, and organized, provide an example about that, just like say like in the job description, like mention these 2 things, and like this is an example of why like I'm really good and I have these skills. And then like the last like a few minutes, the conclusion should be, like again like a little bit about the company, and then why would be like a good fit for this role. So like that is my advice. I'm gonna ask Sandra like if she has anything to add.
Yes, that is something that companies are usually looking for in a candidate. Basically, I will put them in 2 different groups. One is the soft skills, anything within your personality that will help you to fit in the company culture. So talking to someone who is already there, doing some research about people who work there, now or in the past is also very helpful. So if you are able to connect with someone who work at that hospital, will be very nice. They can tell you if they have a very specific type of management or something. Also, companies are always looking for technical skills or hard skills that are needed for this particular job. So as an administrative assistant, you certainly are going to be dealing with different type of software. So make sure that you know if they use some specific software, like CRM software, like something for communication. So make sure that you understand what they are looking for in the candidate and try to do the match between what they need and what you can offer, because you need to showcase that you can add value to the company while doing your job.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you don't have to say like soft skills and then list all of them. Pretty much like find the soft skills that they're looking for in the job description, and you can add those soft skills, like just say like organizational skills and like give an example, right? So you can kind of like say like, these are my 3 top strengths, and then like talk a little bit and like add an example to support that. And another thing to keep in mind is when you prepare the PowerPoint, practice at home, time yourself, right? Like see if you're like within 20 minutes, because you don't want to go over that 20 minutes. If it's like a minute or two, that's totally fine, but you should not be speaking for like 30 minutes, let's say, because that also like talks about your organization and time management, right? So like time yourself at home, like start talking, because it is very important to practice. It's very different how you kind of like thinking about everything in your head, right? But when you start like talking, like the words come differently. So make sure that you practice once you're done with the PowerPoint. So if the interview is on Tuesday, I would say you need to get everything done by Saturday, so you have Sunday and Monday to practice. And like, and don't and when you present yourself, like you present in the best possible way. So make sure that after you prepare the PowerPoint, also like find somebody like a friend, like coworker, to also like proofread, right? Because you don't want to have grammar mistakes, right? It's very important to have a PowerPoint that is like easy to understand. There's like a good formatting, right? And you kind of like you overall, like it's very professional. So like keep that in mind. And another thing, I've seen a PowerPoint when somebody like had pictures of all of their hobbies and the things that they want to do. So I would recommend like doing something like that, because they will learn more of like who you are, and like and what do you do in your free time.
That's good. We also have a question from Rituparna, who is asking, I am an ESL graduate from Centennial College. What opportunities are there for me in the market? I have a passion for teaching. What are the areas that I need to look to?
Okay. So like becoming a teacher here in Ontario, it's like there are a lot of steps, right? Like you need to like have a certain education, and then you have to go to teachers college. So it takes like quite some time. Absolutely, if you're interested in that, I would say do a little bit more of a research and like follow that career path. But as an ESL student, like after you're kind of like done with the program, there are a lot of opportunities where you can help and like teach like other kids. There are a lot of opportunities out there where like you need to know like basic English, right, to like teach kids that they want to learn English. So like you will find opportunities like that if you want to like do like like be like in teaching. There is also like tutoring, right? I know that it's not the same as teaching, but for now like you can definitely look for opportunities like that. But if you really want to become a teacher, then I would say like on Google, try like find the requirements for Ontario, see also what is happening like in other provinces. I know a lot of people are moving to Alberta to go to teachers college, and then they find jobs there. So I would also like do the research, because when I came in Canada 10 years ago, there was like a teacher surplus, and there were like no jobs, because like everything was full. There were like no jobs vacancies, like no jobs opportunities. So like I know that people from Ontario were moving to different provinces. I know that has changed in the last like few years, but again, like I would like recommend first like to do a research, see what is the job market, see like if there are a lot of like job opportunities, and and then go from there. If you want to like become a teacher, I would say like follow the path, see what are the requirements. But if you just want to try and see if you like it, there are like a lot of like tutoring and just like ESL teaching opportunities that might like give you that experience and the opportunity to see if this is something that you want to do in the future.
I might add that there is a portal called Apply to Education, which is
Perfect.
very useful when you are looking for something related to education. So basically, this is for working within Canada in general. So you can use all the filters. It's similar to an Indeed platform or something like that, but only for education. So it might be even a technical job or an administrative position in the education sector. But the most important thing is that you will see what is needed and also who is hiring. Okay. So it's called Apply to Education. And there are many jobs in there that you can filter by location, by the type of position, even the certifications that you need. Okay. I hope that answered the question. Then we have another question from Michael. Okay. My name is,
Sorry,
yeah,
Sandra, I
go ahead.
just want to add something to that. I know that Keelan and I did a workshop beginning of January, and she shared a link, and I can't find the link right now, but she shared a link where you can go. I think it was like a government website where you can go and check, like let's say, type like the job title, and you can see what are the opportunities. You know, like gives you like statistics, like what was
Oh,
happening in
maybe
the
the job
market.
bank. My
No, it's
dad did
not
a
a
job
job
bank.
bank. It was something different. I will definitely
Okay.
look and I
Okay.
can share it later, I think. But it was something where you can see like how is the market, what is happening, how many vacancies there were like the previous year, like was it stable, like like is there like are there going to be more opportunities? So it kind of like gives you analytics of like the role, the job title sorry, the career that you want to like enter, right? So let's say if you want to go like into teaching, you can just type like teacher, and then it will give you the statistics of what was happening in the market, so you can get like those you know, like information. So I'm not sure if anybody that was like that is on this call attended that like session, that maybe they can share the link in the chat. But I know that Keelan shared that link with everybody when we did that workshop. I was moderating it.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
again, the next question is, my name is Michael from Algoma University. I have interest in customer service representative. What opportunities are available for me? I can work remotely and in person.
Oh, Michael, so many.
Yeah.
So many opportunities. No issues here. There are virtual opportunities, there are in-person opportunities. You can pick. My advice is make sure that you have like a resume that it's like similar to, you know, like what they're looking in a customer service representative. And I'm not sure if you have previous experience, but make sure that you like add transferable skills if you haven't worked as a customer service. But there are so many opportunities. You can just type customer service on Indeed or on LinkedIn, and like I feel like so many jobs will like pop up. It's a really great time now because they're also paid, virtual assistants too, they're paid like very high at high rates because they're so hard to find. So like the possibilities are like, oh my goodness, it's for this one, like just like start looking and tailor your resume according to the job description, and I think you will find a job very soon. Sandra,
Yep.
anything else to add?
It's amazing how many jobs you can find for customer service representative in any kind of call center, not necessarily doing those boring calls, but also so many companies are now outsourcing some services for their own clients, so not necessarily for sales. So I will suggest to go to big contact center and look in their career section. Okay. Also try to look for the jobs on Indeed. Sorry, on LinkedIn. Many people go only on Indeed, and there are many job opportunities that are now being posted only on LinkedIn. Okay. That's what I can suggest for Michael. The next question is for Abhikesh, and they also raised their hand. It say, hi, my question is that I am applying for internships in consulting firms like BCG, but I am having issues regarding the type of resume I should be uploading since I have a prior work experience of 7 years in banking. What I should be mentioning in the resume and why what I should. Currently, I am enrolled in SCM ERP and my session has already begun in January 2024. So I'm not sure if you know, Katerina, what is SCM ERP, because I'm not sure about that. So if you can just give us a little idea, Abhikresh, I'm going to allow you to speak, okay?
Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So, my question is firstly, good evening and thanks for giving me the opportunity. So my question is basically SCM is supply chain management, right?
Oh,
Okay. So the question was that my prior work ex was in banking, like entirely. Some part of it was related to supply chain, but not entirely. Majorly, it was on the asset sides, wherein you give the credit cards and all the loan and mortgage stuff, right? So in January, I started my thing for supply chain. Now I have been applying for internships in these companies, but the problem is with the resume part. Whenever I go on the resume part, like what I should be mentioning and what I shouldn't be mentioning, like that's where my whole confusion comes up. Like I just need to catch their attention, and that resume is just the one part of it. So what what can I mention over that when it comes down to mentioning my skills and everything? So majorly my skill set, it comes in sales and marketing.
Okay. So I have kind of like, I call it a formula for resume,
Okay.
because people have a lot of insights when it comes like to resume, and they all have like different ways of, like writing the resume and how it should look. I think this mine is like very simple, and I feel like it works for everybody. So usually like you will start your resume with like a few lines of just summary. Talk, like what are you looking for, what are you trying to find. It shouldn't be kind of like an objective, but just a summary of who you are. If like you can just say, like a professional that like has this many years of experience in this field and is looking, like, and it's organized, effective, like innovative, and like and just like talk a little bit about who you are and your skills. After that, you will add a skill section, all of the skills that you have acquired before, right? You can add those if you think that it's going to help you like in this job. I always say this all the time. First, you have to like scan the job description, find the keywords, and see out of like from those keywords what you have, right? Like what type of skills, experience you have that can match those keywords, and add them on the resume. A lot of times we don't realize that some of even the jobs are not like related. There are a lot of transferable skills, right? Like if you maybe like you were dealing with customers, you have a customer service skills, you have problem solving skills, like you have probably organizational skills because you're able like to help them. So don't forget about those skills, right? So if there are transferable skills that you can add, absolutely add them to your skill section, because you are attending a program right now. So you are considered a new grad, right? So I would add education right after skills. So they know that you're a new grad, and they're not going to look like down on your like previous, sorry, that was very wrong. Not look down, but I meant like down on in your resume, like on the second page. They're not going
scrolling
to look,
down.
like on your like second page of the resume, because their attention is always on the first page. So on the first page, they will see your skills, they will skill education. So they'll be like, okay, like new grad, that it's like experience, so like looks good. So I would add the education, and after it, I will add your most recent job. Like, are you currently working? Is there anything?
No, currently I'm not working. Like I'm searching for part time since it's been just 20 days that my college has begun.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
whatever prior work ex I have, that's from India. So
And when was the last time like that you worked? Like
it was August 23,
oh, okay, so
2023.
recently.
Recently.
Okay. Yeah, so I will add the role that you had, the last role that you had.
Okay.
Don't include, like 10 bullet points. Summarize it like, like 3-4 bullet points, so they can learn a little bit of what you did, but then they will know, okay, like has this type of like, and add like the bullet points should be again like somehow related to the job description, to show them that even though this is not the same role, you still like develop some skills that will be helpful to have if you're the successful applicant, right?
Okay. And
So, uh-huh.
sorry to cut you. Please
No, no.
continue. Please continue.
No. So I just want to going to say, so like those should be like the first, like the four things on your first page: summary, skills, education, and your first experience. Second page, if you have like more experience, you can add it, but I wouldn't add like 5, like work experiences if you're looking for like an internship, right? I will focus on just maybe 1 or 2, and then add some like training, licenses, certification that you took, like
Okay.
something you don't want to look overqualified too, right? And
Uh,
you are not lying if you don't include all of your like jobs that you had in the past. Some jobs don't apply and they should not be on your resume. I personally, on my resume, I have a section that says earlier roles, and I just list the job title and the company that I work for without any bullet points and like explaining what I did in that job if it's something from like 10 years ago. But like now, like I always update my resume and I remove those jobs. So you can have the most recent 2 or 3 positions.
okay. And is there any rule of one pager resume, or it can go shift down to second page as well?
A 2-page resume, it's okay. I wouldn't say not more than 2 pages. Okay.
Okay.
So 1 or 2 page, it's fine. I like better 2-page resume because somehow it looks more professional. I feel like 1 page, it's very like crowded, right? Because
Okay.
you want to like put everything in 1 page. And I don't think that that's enough room, like to share about all of your accomplishments and skills, right? So I
Okay.
would say like 2 pages should be like enough, and then the first page should have the most important things that I mentioned, and then the second page a little bit more about like previous experience, like volunteer experience, any license or like certification, like any training stuff that might be beneficial to have, if they're somehow like not related, but they might help you to get the internship.
Okay. And lastly, anything I should be mentioning about languages known?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you
Yep.
can add a section, like you can add a section about languages. First page, second page, like you never know. Canada is like a very diverse country. And then the global companies, especially even like I see now, like small businesses, they're like expanding globally and they're like entering like different markets. And they sometimes they ask for people to speak like different language. They might not need the language that you are speaking, but it's
Okay.
always an advantage when you know more than one language.
So sorry to keep putting in
No,
questions.
absolutely, go ahead.
Just one thing. I've recently started with the French, right? So if I had to mention that I'm at a beginner's level, so would it be helpful? Like, would it help in any way mentioning that I know French? I'll mention obviously I'm at a beginner's level, but will it add any kind of value to the resume?
To be honest, the only time that will add value is if they're looking for French speaking,
Okay.
or maybe like they say, like knowing French is an asset. If it's
Okay.
not mentioned in the job description, they're not going to be, oh, this person knows like French. It's not going to make like any difference. I'm sorry, but like that's the reality, right? It's
No,
like
it's okay.
important if they're looking, if it's like maybe like a French company, or if they're like in the French market, that might be helpful. But if there's no need of them to hire somebody that speaks French, in that time, like in that
At that level.
situation, it's not going to make like a really big difference.
Okay. Thank you so
No
much.
worries.
Thank you so
I
much.
Yeah.
want to give you the last advice, and
Yeah.
is keeping in mind, and this is for everyone, that there are at least two different big groups of resumes. So there are functional resumes and there are chronological resumes, because I see another question regarding changing in the career. So for someone with a lot of experience in a field and looking for something in the same field, I highly recommend a chronological resume. So it will show that you were doing the exact same job or something very close for a long period of time. However, if you are changing careers and you work in banking and now you want to go for supply chain, it's better to go for a functional resume that basically focus only on your skills. It might be your recent skills or your transferable skills, okay?
Okay. Understood.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No
No
worries.
problem. Okay, so next question that we have is, how can I prepare myself for the teacher interview? What are the areas that I should research? Can you give me some tips on this? How can I research on this?
Okay. So teachers interview, if you're applying for like those tutoring or like small, you know, like teachers job that we were like mentioning, for the interview, I would just maybe, you know, like on Google, just say like interview questions and add the job description that they had in the posting. So like a lot of questions will come up and I will practice around that, you know, but probably they will ask you about, you know, like what would happen if, let's say, your student is not paying attention, how you're going to engage the student, you know, like what are some ways that, you know, like you are like presenting, you know, like your materials, how you're going to present the materials. So probably those are some type of questions that they will ask. But I will always like for every role like that I had before, I would always Google and see like what questions are out there. It doesn't mean that what you're going to find on Google, they're going to be the same questions they're going to ask you in the interview, but at least you're going to start talking and coming up with some examples, because those examples I'm 100% sure can be used like to like different type of questions, right? So that's where I would start. If you really want to like have a career as a teacher and become, you know, like a high school teacher or elementary school teacher here in Ontario, just on Google, you know, like you can just type, you know, like very simple, like how to become like a high school teacher in Ontario. And I'm sure that like things will come up, because personally, I don't know, I'm not sure, Sandra, if you know, but like I know that you have to go to school, and then there's like a couple of years that you have to go to teachers college. I know that they have here in like in Toronto, I think UFT has that, but don't quote me of this, I'm not 100% sure. But I know that like if you just go on Google and type that, how to become a teacher in Ontario, high school teacher, elementary school teacher, then like things will come up and you can learn more, you know, like what you need to do in order, you know, like to take that career path, right? So that's where I would start. But I'm not sure if you have any previous experience like in teaching. If you don't have, maybe start with something like small, like some like I call them small roles, because like these are not part-time. They always are like sorry, they're not full-time roles. They're always like part-time or casual roles. I would say try with them and see if this is what you want to do, and then I would invest more like in education, right? Because you don't want to waste your time learning, you know, going to school about something that maybe like you're not sure if you really enjoy. Like we are living now in a really like diverse job market, where like you will have the opportunity to see, maybe like through volunteering or like part-time jobs, like casual roles, to see like if you're like you will really enjoy doing something that maybe you're thinking of studying and having as a career.
Okay.
Sandra, anything else to add?
Yes, I will suggest to Rita Parna that she starts speaking with other people who has done the same career path. The reason is I know that becoming a teacher in Ontario, like you just said, is quite difficult in terms of the education that you need to have, but also there are other ways to approach this, because now the school board in Ontario in general is trying to find more teachers, but mainly they are trying to improve their diversity indicator. So what I know is that you can challenge the exams and kind of do something that is the equivalent to a teaching certification, even without going for a 3-year program. That is doable, but you need to approach directly to the school board. So depending on your location, I will suggest going to the public or the Catholic school board in your city. That is one thing. Secondly, start talking to someone who is already a teacher, and even better if they are from another country, so they can tell you how they did it. I did it personally because that was one of my ideas when I first came, and that's how I know it's doable. It will take time, but if you have previous experience, you can challenge the certifications. Okay. Also, there is another question here from Adriana. So Adriana is saying, hi, I am a 20-year-old and decided to change career. So I came to Canada for a TechCo program. I am seeking a part-time job in hospitality as a server or barista to support my studies, but having a hard time to put together a resume since the most relevant experience in this area dates back to high school years. Is functional hybrid resume suitable to use here? Anything I should be careful about?
I would say like for server or barista, I know that they're looking for like people to hire. I'm not sure where you're located, but for like Toronto, I know that you can find a job like this. And honestly, like the resume wouldn't matter that much. As long as, like you can run around, you know what I mean? Like serve people, like make drinks like pretty fast, you're organized. So I'm not sure what is your preference, whether it's like a restaurant or a club or a bar, right? Or just like working as like a receptionist, but there are like a lot of opportunities. If your experience is like dating from, it's like dates back from to high school, maybe you can try, like the functional or like hybrid resume. Like start with that, as if you don't have a consistent, like employment history. So I would say you can definitely try with the functional resume. And then I don't think, like, I'm gonna be very honest, it may be like I'm wrong, but I think they need so many people in this type of jobs that your resume like won't matter. You know what I mean? If you can go and work part-time, full-time, and they like you when like they see you, like how you present yourself, like you will get the job. Like I'm like that confident. I'm not sure about like, but I've seen like job ads everywhere. So I think they're in need, but also like I'm not sure, Adriana, where are you located? I'm just talking about Toronto.
I think one important thing to keep in mind is that what they are looking for is someone with customer service skills. Not necessarily the experience, but the attitude will be the most important thing. Also, the flexibility. Many jobs in the service sector, they are looking for flexibility, basically because there is a shortage. So I think it's a good place to find a job. It's a good like area, but you need to make sure that you are flexible in terms of the time you can work. Also, they will probably look if you have your own transportation so you can move faster. Okay, so it depends if you are located in a city or area that is bus accessible and you can move to the place. So try to find something close to your location so they can rely on you. That's the second thing I will give you. And lastly, anything that can be a transferable skill and a simple one-page resume, remarking your kind of your personal attitude will be the most important thing.
Exactly. And if you do your like, oh, you're like located in Vancouver. Okay, that's a really good place, like to like it's a really good place. There are a lot of coffee shops, restaurants, bars. Start with like the functional resume and maybe put like the first skill customer service. Second skill organizational skills. Third skill maybe like time management. I'm sure like you like you have those skills. So like just like talk about that, and I think like you will like find a job. Be open, like apply to, I'm not sure what is your preference, but I will apply to restaurants, like coffee shops, like bars. There are like so many different things, and I'm sure you will find a part-time job. Right now, this is like an amazing, it's a great time for like this type of role.
We also have a question from Anaya. They are asking, hi, I am unable to get any part-time. Please help me with it. Do we have any specific sites offers for part-time job? So they are looking for a part-time job.
Okay. So Anaya, can you please like type in the chat window, or we can unmute you if you want. Just let us know what type of part-time jobs you are looking for and where are you located. Like that's also like it's important because it makes like a big difference if you're in a small city or like a big city.
Can you raise your hand, please, so I can let you speak? I don't see Anaya here. They moved probably.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I think Anaya. No, they probably disconnected. Okay, so next question is from Jean-Marc. So hi, my name is Gian, and my question is about working on a study permit. I know international students are allowed to work 20 hours per week on a study permit. However, my permit does not include the clause stating that I am allowed to work. But IRCC gave me a SIN anyway. I got a job interview next week, so I am wondering. So you have a work permit, but the work permit is not mentioning if you are allowed to study, because this is mostly not about job search. So this is mostly about immigration. So I think it's
Oh,
very important to verify first what is stated on your work permit.
okay. He doesn't have a work permit, he has a study permit. And right now in Ontario, you're
Oh, yeah.
allowed to work 20 hours.
Yeah.
And I think like they changed this. So you don't like it with your study permit, you're allowed to work 20 hours. You don't need a work permit. Your study permit itself allows you to work like for 20 hours. That's why IRCC gave you like the SIN number. So if
But-
you have a SIN number, you're like with the study permit, you're allowed to work.
But be careful if you are still maybe in a pathway or something, because people who comes to the colleges and they are still under the pathway program because they need to improve their English level, they are not allowed to work.
But they wouldn't give him like a SIN number if he's not allowed to work.
Okay. That's good to know.
I know that like a lot of things has changed with the immigration since I remember
Yeah.
I was an international student. But I remember when I was an international student, I was allowed to work 20 hours without, like the work permit. Like, and you can work full time when you're off school. So that was the requirement. And I know they did that now. Students that they come to Canada with the study permit, they're allowed to work 20 hours on like a study permit. So that's why you have a SIN number. If you are worrying about like a few things, I would say visit the government. Yes, you have a SIN, so you're okay. If you have a SIN number, that's like a huge thing. The biggest problem is like if you don't have a SIN number, you can work, but you have a SIN number and you're allowed to work. Just make sure you're not going over those 20 hours. But my advice is, after we are done, go on the government website and just like type your question. You will find the answer there. Just type like study permit, how many hours can I work? I have a SIN number. I'm sure they're like, you will find your answer. But from what I'm hearing here and reading in the chat, I think you're good because you have a SIN number. You are not allowed to work if you don't have a SIN number, but you have a SIN number, and with your study permit, you can work 20 hours.
Also, I will strongly recommend to go to your international hub in the college, because I know that all colleges, they have a very specific office with a law team that can answer that question very quickly. Because like you say, many things have been changing so fast.
Yeah.
And it is something that you need to keep in mind and be very responsible with the number of hours and everything. Also, we have a session for Q&A with the immigration lawyer. And I'm pretty sure that is on the link that we will put again at the end, okay, for our calendar, okay? Okay, the next question that we have, let's see. I was getting confused. Thank you. Okay. So that question is answered. I don't see any more questions on the chat. So I'm not sure if anyone is maybe raising their hands. If you want to ask new questions, please let us know, because I don't see any more on the chat.
We have 13 more minutes.
And even though I'm not an immigration advisor or anything like that, the only thing I want to tell you is for you to be careful, because when we came here with my kids, even though they are minors, they were given a SIN number. By Service Canada mistake. My two minor kids were given a SIN number, even though they were elementary students.
Oh, that was done by mistake,
that's
right?
why was their mistake. And when I went back to say why they have a SIN number if I am not supposed to, and they say, oh, we don't know what happened.
Ooh, okay. I would
So
definitely
be
like
careful.
just to go back to
Double
like
check.
that question, I would definitely go and double check, especially because I reread the question now, and you said that the permit does not include the clause. I know that before it was in the permit. After I think they remove it, because if you get the study permit, you are automatically allowed to work 20 hours. But again, we don't want to say something that it's not right, and make like a huge thing, right? So please like check with your International Student Center. They know they definitely we can help you. And go on the government website, like you can find, I think, all of your answers there. They're like, they have like a really good website that can answer everything. Also, there is like another forum. There's like a forum where like people who have experience and they're like in immigration consultants, they like go and answer like on the forum, so you can ask that question and they will like answer it. I used that forum like 5 years ago and it's very helpful. Like whatever they said, and it's free, right? They said like was correct. So, but like you don't want to like make a mistake here because it's immigration, so double check before you. But I personally think you're good, but it's good to double check before you go like on that interview and start working. Oh, it's Canada visa, I think. But they ask like questions about everything. Canada visa or like Visa Canada, something like that.
Also, believe it or not, IRCC never answers, but I have been using their Twitter account because they answer the messages on Twitter. They have a very specific account for Q&A that are like technical questions about your application, and they answer it within hours, which is crazy. They never answer the phone, but they do answer Twitter.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Just in case. Okay, do we have more questions?
So we have 10 more minutes. Somebody, I think, raised their hand.
Let me just unmute. There you are, Kit. You can speak now.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Hi, Kit.
I like to check because when I was applying for part-time jobs, and then I think there is like a cut-off date around like October or so. So when I walk into the shopping malls, and then when I ask, they say, "Oh no, their hiring has stopped." So next hiring will be like maybe a few months later or something like that. So I was wondering, right now I'm applying for co-op. So for co-op also, is there like a cutoff date? Is there like a hiring period that they usually open?
So your program, do you need like a credit like for co-op? Like, is it co-op part of your program, or you're just looking for a co-op because you want to gain experience?
No, it's mandatory for my program. I'm looking for summer co-op.
So summer co-op. Okay. So for summer co-op, you have to start applying now because the summer co-op start like May until August. Depending of like if you have a semester in the fall, if you don't have semester in the fall, some co-ops can go like for 8 months. If like really depends, but like now, like you need to start applying for like co-ops because the competition is big when it comes to co-ops, and you want to find something that like it's good, because co-op is the best time to learn and gain experience. But for summer co-ops, they are May, June, July, and August, 4 months. Fall co-ops are September, October, November, and December, and winter co-ops are January, February, March, and April. So they're like same as the semesters: fall, winter, summer. So that's how the co-ops work. So if you have summer co-op, then your co-op will start in probably like May and then end in August. And if you have a semester right now and then you have semester in the fall, then yes, you will start in May and then end in August. Okay, so now like work on your resume and like start looking for jobs, like connect with people on LinkedIn, email, send them like, just say like, hey, like I'm an intern looking for an internship. Do you have anything? I feel like hiring managers are really more open like to maybe like offer like an internship to somebody than like if you just email them for a job, because they cannot, like come up with like a position, right? Like create a position just out of the blue. But with co-ops, they might be like, hey, you know what? We can like get the student and they can help us with like some of the things we were not able to do. And then on the other hand, like that this person can gain experience. So I would say like start like emailing people on LinkedIn, connect with them, but first like prepare your resume and then like draft an email that will say like, hi, my name is like, I'm like a graduate, like I'm a student in this college and I'm looking for a co-op in like whatever field you're looking for a co-op. So if you don't mind me asking, like what type of co-ops are you looking for?
Uh, for my program is project management,
Okay.
but my work experience back in Singapore is software engineering. So I was thinking to look for like IT roles.
I'm okay. So like you need to double check because you can get any co-op. It has to be related to your education right now. So if you're in project management, you need to find something that it's related to project management. Can be in operations, can be like exactly like in project management, can be like another job where like you're managing projects, but it's like a different job title. So IT, it's like more like it's a little bit different than like what you're studying right now. So you are also at risk like for the co-op not to be recognized, and you might be able not to get the credits and like not to graduate on time. So you have to be careful. You're like right now like a new student, right? Like you're a student right now. You're starting like a new career technically. So the experience from back home like doesn't matter, right? Because people, hiring managers, companies, they know that students who are looking for co-ops or internships, eventually they don't have a lot of experience from before, or their experience is working, like at coffee shop or like a restaurant or like at the mall, like in retail. So don't worry like about your previous experience. Worry finding something that is related to your education. Current education, I mean, right now, because I think you're enrolled in project management. So find something that is like in project management. There's so many like positions like project management, project coordinator, intern, project assistant, like operations assistant, like even sometimes like executive assistant might like be able to like fit with like right now with the education that you have, because you're juggling so many things, you know what I mean? You're managing so many things. So just talk to your co-op coordinator or consultant. I'm not sure how they're called. Talk to them and they will tell you more about like what jobs, what internship, like and where you can apply. But I don't think that IT will be like a good fit right now.
And it's also a field that is not hiring so many people. On the contrary, they are kind of laying off people.
That's true too.
Yep.
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
I was saying, yes, IT as a field in general terms is not a field that is hiring. So jobs in IT are actually laying off people. So they are removing people from the job instead of having new hires.
Oh, right now in the current market?
Yes, in IT. Like cybersecurity, iCloud security, coding, all that is actually very slow and letting people go. So it's not a good field to look for a job.
Right now, like this last past year, they were experiencing a lot of layoffs. The IT sector was melting. So yeah, there might not even be like a lot of internship opportunities. Like so like I think what you're studying right now like will be really good to find something like in project management or
project
like
management.
something similar. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're
So we have
welcome.
3 more minutes. I'm just gonna go through like couple of slides. If you have any questions, now it's the time to type them in the chat window. But we have so many new like workshops coming up. So on Wednesday, January 31st, we have spotting fake job postings and job scams. Will be like a really good workshop. Please, like if you are like free, attend the workshop. February 7th, we have like an expert panel like careers in web development. So if you're in web development, this will be like a good workshop for you. February 14, optimizing your LinkedIn presence, profile building. So this is a really good like workshop for LinkedIn, how to create your profile, how to look for jobs and stuff like that. And then on February 21st, it's been a long day. We have again, like a career cafe where we will talk, like about job search, resume, cover letters, interviews, anything that, like you want to ask, like this, like sessions are really great. And then if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, Sandra and myself, we are coaches at Devant, and they have a promo right now. It's like $95 per hour, and we can meet like You can pick the coach and you can meet with the coach for an hour, and then with the coach you can go through like whatever you want them like to like to help you with resume, interviews, LinkedIn profile. Like you can it's a really nice like coaching session where like we can talk like in depth about the things that like are challenging right now, right? Okay, and then we also have resume writing service, and there's another promo here. It's $71 one-time fee where like somebody will review your resume and then they will create it like to fit like your preferred industry and the Canadian standards. All right, so that was all for today. It's 7:59. If you don't have any more questions, it was an amazing session. I think it was very interactive. We are really happy to be here, answer all of your questions. Good luck to all of you that have interviews this week and next week. I know that you're gonna crush it. You're ready. Just like practice and be confident, and I'm sure you will get the job and you will do better. For those of you who are applying for roles, like don't give up, keep applying. You will definitely like find something. And yeah, so that's all from us. Thank you again and have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone. It was a very nice conversation. Hope to see you soon again. Bye-bye.
Bye.